No, Wizzy, you're roasting it wrong. God damn it, Wizzy.
What? You can't say I'm roasting it wrong just because I'm roasting it how I like to eat it.
It's so black.
Yeah, but like, when it falls off and into the fire and then you eat it out of there is better.
Wizzy, just throw it into the goddamn fire.
No, you have to wait for it to fall off the stick!
Oh my god, you're so aggravating. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. Me and Wizzy have gotten into a bit of a scuffle today. As you could probably tell, we're still camping, and well, let's just say Wizzy is being a dick.
I'm not. I'm just being resourceful. You know, if anyone knows about camping, it's the gays.
So, as you might also be able to tell, I'm a bit sick today, which is why you're going to be hearing a lot of chair noises in the background. There we go, covering our asses. Wink for later. So yeah, you see, Wizzy thought it would be really funny to just slap me with a cold fish, and I got pneumonia.
I didn't know it would do that. How many times do I have to say, I'm sorry?
That was 400 times at this point, but still not enough.
Who knew fish could contract pneumonia?
Fish scientist, Wizzy, and I thought you were one.
I lied about that to get into the club.
Wizzy's also a filthy liar, which is another reason that I'm kind of peeved off at him right now. So anyways, yeah, I'm sick, he's not. He's gonna be reading a story today. And now I'm sure you're wondering, guys, well, what kind of a story is it? Well, thank you for asking. It is called A Lovingly Crafted Lunch by Daemon of Decay. It's also in collaboration with Rainbow Bob. And if you're in the film fiction community, you probably know that name.
I don't, but I like it.
He was a classic author. He would occasionally just kind of stop being on film fiction, and everyone was like, oh my god, is he dead? But as far as I know, he's not dead. He just left the fandom.
Well, better than being dead. Or not, I don't know.
Indeed. So, this one, if you're listening to the audio version, which, I mean, we don't have a video version, so I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Yeah, you could probably see what the image for this one is, and it is kind of cute. Of course, that image is probably being kind of covered up by Wizzy. I didn't think about that thumbnail choice before I really did that, but I'm not regretting it. It looks cool.
I'll try and sit down next time for the thumbnail.
That's okay. So yeah, I'm sick of talking now, because I am sick.
So I'll continue. Alright, Chapter 1. A meal fit for a god. The alarm bell rang loud enough to shatter concrete, standing Scootaloo's ears on end as she shivered under her bedding. Even with the extra fortification of a pillow and blankets to block out the alarm's rampant ringing, the tempting call of slumber had already been drowned out. All she could do was doze off, half asleep yet half awake, as she waited for the alarm to finally give in.
Scootaloo, you're gonna be late for school if you don't come downstairs soon.
Or, alternatively, for her mother to call for her.
Coming, Mom. Okay, so I don't think that, this fanfiction was made way before we actually saw Scootaloo's parents. We thought she was an orphan for the longest time, but anyways.
Oh, that explains some of the fics.
There's a little fun fact about Scootaloo, and it's that she is the daughter of Steve Irwin pony, basically. And I can't remember who her mom is based off of. Maybe Steve Irwin's wife, I don't know. Her parents also fucking suck, by the way. Terrible,
Wait, what?
Terrible choice. Terrible choice to base Steve Irwin off of, or base off of Steve Irwin.
How could they?
They basically just abandoned her for 18 months out of the year.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Just to go off on expeditions or something?
Yeah, but that does mean that she is half Australian, which is fun.
Wait, so he's actually Australian?
Yes.
From Australia?
I mean, I don't know I don't think they ever say it, but yeah.
Okay.
And also, that's how they cleverly got in that her aunts are a lesbian couple and not just sisters. Because one of them is cold-blooded American and the other is Australian.
Oh my god.
So they were like,
that.
fuck you.
No, they're not lesbians, guys. They're sisters, and the one was born in Australia, and then the other was born years later in America, or pony equivalent.
Equestrian Osquestria.
Osquestria. That needs to be canon.
So anyways, that's a little fun fact about Scootaloo there. Oh, I love just giving fun facts. I love this series. Oh my god, I tapped my microphone.
There's a reason they're called fun.
I mean, I tapped your ears. There is no microphone here. You're here in the campfire with us.
Man, you just clapped them on the sides of the head.
Discombobulate.
Scootaloo shouted back, kicking off her sheets and slumping out of bed to fall on her pillow. Now adequately awakened, she trotted to her bathroom and began her morning rituals. Wash her face, brush her teeth, wink slyly to herself in the mirror for looking good.
Okay, the last CMC Halloween fic we did, this didn't end well.
Oh no!
Well, last CMC Halloween episode we did. Last Halloween fic was a different one, but same episode.
And neglect all consideration of fixing her mane, because who did something like that anyway?
Hell yeah.
Done with that bothersome task, Scootaloo trotted out of her room, but not before admiring the impressive collection of Rainbow Dash pictures, plushies, and memorabilia she had along her wall. It was so cool she almost wished she could show it to Rainbow Dash herself. But, well, that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. Stupid family rules. Shrugging off the disappointment, she made her way down the stairs in an impressive slide along the railing. She jumped off with a perfect double flip and landed with gymnastic grace flat upon her face. Looking around to make sure no one had caught that embarrassing trick gone wrong, Scootaloo picked herself up before running to the kitchen.
Hey, no running in the house, remember?
Scootaloo's mom yelled from her place over the stove.
Can I fly through the house then?
Scootaloo asked, jumping up in the air and buzzing in place slightly as her wings struggled to keep her up. Unfortunately, her landing was just as graceful as her previous attempts. So, her wings, does she only have like one or something?
No, she has the both, but they're so tiny. And they can't carry her.
So she just has like stunted wings?
Yeah.
Aww.
As far as we know, she never is able to fly, so yeah.
Man.
She's disabled.
So they don't have her like magically get cured, they just have her learn to be herself.
It's iffy with the whole learn to be yourself thing. Well, I guess there was Flight to the Finish. I was gonna say that never really happens, and she's just kind of is, but no, Flight to the Finish kind of had that.
Nice. And she ended up trying to make out with... Oh no, don't do that, Scootaloo. Make out with the leg of the kitchen table. It was a brief but painful romance. Oh god.
We'll make a rule change once you're able to,
Golden Loom stated, not bothering to look up from the eggs she was frying. The unicorn mare frowned, staring at her skillet with a raised brow.
I thought I told your father to buy free-range organic eggs.
Scootaloo ran her tongue over her teeth, checking to see if she'd chipped any of them.
Didn't he?
Asked Scootaloo. Standing on her tippy hoofs to catch a glance at the skillet, she turned her curious gaze up to Golden Loom.
How can you tell the difference?
For one thing, your father hates the taste of those eggs.
Golden Loom sighed, using her magic to pull out a plate so she could slide the eggs right off.
Another thing is that he's made it his life's mission to resist the diet I'm trying to put on him. Well, excuse me if I think losing a few pounds would do him some good.
She glanced out the window, a faint smile playing on the edge of her lips.
You should have seen him back when we first met. He was so fit.
Scootaloo accepted her plate of eggs with gleeful hunger in her eyes.
Didn't he say the same thing to you?
And that's why he slept on the couch that night,
Golden reminded her. Golden was far from chubby. Her gold-coated feminine figure was still the envy of mares everywhere, though Scootaloo noticed she was starting to look a bit plump around her rump, where her golden needle cutie mark lay. Still, she wasn't stupid enough to actually say it out loud. Golden swept her pristine white mane over her cheek as she went about cracking more eggs to add to the skillet.
Now eat up, dear. You need to leave for school soon. But be sure to say goodbye to your father before you leave. He has a busy day in front of him. Poor dear has been overworked all week.
Is that why you're not gonna yell at him for buying the wrong eggs?
Scootaloo asked, stifling a giggle.
Of course not. My revenge shall be asparagus and Brussels sprouts for dinner tonight.
Scootaloo stuck out her tongue and did her best impression of a sick cat.
Oh, I could do that right now. Meow.
Golden kissed her daughter's head.
But if you're a good filly and eat your veggies, there may be a haysicle or two that Daddy won't be having.
Haysicle? Is it like frozen hay juice?
I don't know. I assume it's just like a popsicle that tastes like hay. They're horses.
I know.
I guess Scootaloo's half horse in this one, but whatever.
I think they'd have like frozen salt licks. That'd be probably pretty popular in the pony world.
Yeah.
Smiling wide, Scootaloo made her way to the dining room, her mouth already watering at the thought of those delicious haysicles. Being good might be irritating, but it would all be worth it in the end. Sitting on the chair next to her dad, who was currently tucked into his newspaper that covered his entire face, Scootaloo asked,
"Hey, Dad, how you doing?"
There was the rustle of paper. Dozens of unblinking eyes turned to look down at Scootaloo. Her father opened one of his perforated mouths, the mountain of sick wet flesh that made up his bulk weeping slowly.
How lovely.
The sheep shall bathe in blood at the high tide as the night collapses. Darkness dominion, the singing never ends, and forever is the turmoil.
Oh, God. A dripping pseudopod gingerly turned to the next page of the sports section, and he glanced away.
Gosh, imagine having Cthulhu as your daddy.
Yeah, I wish I could. God, I love Cthulhu.
Well, at least you're not sleeping on the couch anymore.
A forest of seeping iron trees consume the freedom that dances in the dwindling hurricane.
So this
Wait.
was the guy that called his wife fat?
Yes. I'm sure if we're able to parse out what he's what he actually means, like maybe the sheep shall bathe in blood at the high tide as the night collapses. Maybe that means, hey, how you doing, kiddo?
Or maybe
Or whatever.
he's saying that they're not going to be having the Brussels sprouts for dinner. They're going to be eating sheep tonight.
Oh, could be.
Yo, I speak Cthulhu. I don't speak Cthulhu.
You clearly do not. Wait, Mom seriously doesn't believe you when you tell her she snores?
Oh, that's what he was saying.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, actually. You can parse it out. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even actually realize that made kind of sense from a forest of sleeping iron trees consume the freedom that dances in the dwindling hurricane.
That's great.
Scootaloo sniggered under her breath.
She must be keeping you up all night. How did you describe it again? Like a pig?
Heartfelt, terrible music like the triumph of the glowering Saudi born.
There was the sound of wet rumbling as he laughed aloud, although more than one of his eyes nervously glanced up at the door at the kitchen.
Sevenfold.
Scootaloo's smile turned playfully wicked.
Mom, Dad called you a sow.
Golden appeared from Cthulhu's side, carrying with her another pan filled with eggs.
Oh, did he now?
Golden glared at her husband with a look that could sizzle hay bacon.
Isn't that a bit hypocritical, seeing as how whenever he snores, entire civilizations are driven murderously insane?
Speaking of parents snoring, for years I thought it was my dad who snored, and then I realized once my dad started sleeping in the couch out here, or ironically, that no, it's my mommy.
Dang.
Yeah,
And you can hear
100%
it.
my mother. My dad does not snore a bit.
Man.
I mean, I'm sure he at least used to snore, that's for sure. Maybe he snores when he actually sleeps in the bed. It's due to back problems, by the way. They're not having troubles with their relationship or anything like that. It could be.
Gotta get a new mattress.
They have gotten several new mattresses over the years.
Oh, never mind.
It's just the bed panels are haunted.
Cthulhu's tentacles waved irritably.
Scarabs digging in the flesh.
He snorted, scanning the newspaper with more intensity than required, refusing to look up.
Keep talking like that, mister, and you'll be sleeping on the couch again. Maybe then my snoring won't bother you anymore.
There was a low grumble, but Cthulhu kept his mouth silent as he set his newspaper down. He watched eagerly as Golden Loom slid the eggs and bacon onto his plate, his sharp tongues licking his many suppurating lips. Scootaloo swallowed the rest of her juice after she scarfed down her breakfast in record speed once again. Like her role model, she liked to do everything as quickly as possible. Wiping her muzzle with a hoof, she looked expectantly to her dad with that usual curious, wide-eyed stare of hers. Cthulhu paused when he caught her eye.
The shadow spawn speaks.
Dad, what you gonna do today at work?
Snowfall, the kingdom of the bats shall collapse upon the lungs of the weak and bring forth a torrent of soul fire, damnation, ruination, castigation.
He muttered, one of his unending tentacles slipping around one of the forks and scooping up a heavy mouthful of eggs.
Knowledge is lost by the insane.
I think he might just be a landlord.
Oh.
I'll be at school learning about fractions.
Scootaloo screwed up her muzzle and stuck out her tongue.
Ugh, I hate them. Why should I waste my time on them when I'm trying to find my special talent?
The color drained from her face.
Oh no. What if I end up getting my cutie mark in math? That would be the worst.
Cthulhu reached out to comfort his daughter.
Masticating the downfall of urban decay. Death is undulating eternally.
Your father's right, sweetie. You're not gonna end up with a cutie mark in something you hate. You don't need to worry. And besides, fractions are important for your education.
I love how they could totally just understand him.
Yeah.
It's weirdly cute.
It's a family thing.
Her mother said, refilling her glass with a pleasant grin.
Take your father, for instance. He went to college, got a degree in finance, and is now very successful. And do you think he got that way without knowing fractions?
I don't know.
Scootaloo said. She shrugged.
Hey Dad, do you like fractions or not?
There's a purple glow on the horizon that draws forth pain upon pain.
I think he's just talking about Scootaloo there.
Shadows congeal from beneath the planets to create fleeting beauty beyond dissolving again.
Is he talking about them creating Scootaloo?
Oh, possibly. Gross.
Yeah. He picked up the silverware and illustrated what he meant, pushing them together and pulling them apart. Oh!
Heavens.
Scootaloo looked from the silverware to her dad, then the silverware, then her dad, then the silverware once more.
Dad, just what are you talking about? It's like you're speaking another language or something. Plus, it's boring. You might just be talking about fractions, I don't know.
Maybe. There was a long pause. Slowly, Cthulhu lowered the silverware down. He sighed.
Grub.
Beautiful Cthulhu sigh.
Thank you. I was working on it all day.
Looks like someone is in a foul mood today.
Oh, you're telling me. I got slapped by a fish.
Okay, but it was pretty funny.
Fuck you.
I put the fish back.
That might be even worse, actually.
Well, we may be running low on food, but I don't want to eat the fish.
Oh yeah, also our van ran out of gas, by the way, guys. And, well, somebody said that we should go super far into the forest instead of just camping on the outskirts of it, near civilization, where we could get help.
That's glamping, not real camping. Golden said. She dumped the pan in the sink and started running her hooves under some cold water.
What's Mr. Grumpy Pants have up his butt this morning?
Rivers that run free don't climb up the overwhelming force of pressure and fear.
Ha ha! You should have been a comedian instead of a deity. You're about as good at both of them.
Burst globules of pus and tears.
Golden rolled her eyes.
Doing better than my sister? At least my sister doesn't have to deal with impaled cultists and the ranting of lunatics at 3 in the morning at her job. She might not be a god, but she's at least able to get home more often than just every fortnight twixt the blood-red moon we born.
She turned back to give him a smirk.
And her special sun pony doesn't have to sleep on the couch whenever he sticks his hoof in his big mouth.
As Cthulhu sulked further into his newspaper, Scootaloo called out,
Mom, can I have more juice?
No, dearie, you've had enough this morning. You still
Lame.
have school today, and you remember what happens when you get too hyper.
Golden sighed.
Or at least I do. And I really don't need another emergency parent-teacher conference.
Scootaloo rolled her eyes and sulked in her seat.
Oh, come on, that's totally unfair. Diamond Tiara dared me to do it.
If Diamond Tiara dared you to jump off a cliff, would you do that?
Glancing at her wings, Scootaloo shrugged.
If I could fly, sure.
Golden glanced at her daughter and husband, particularly her husband, whom she was fixing with an angry stare that burned right through his newspaper.
I bet you'd be able to fly now if a certain sun pony could take the time out of his busy work schedule to spend some time with his own daughter. Maybe someone who can bend reality and truth itself to create his own twisted desires? But who could that possibly be?
There was something muttered from behind the newspaper.
What was that?
Golden snapped. The newspaper wavered, but there was no response.
I thought so. Now, as I'm determined to make sure both my children aren't left hungry and helpless, I've already made lunch for the both of you. Wait here while I get your bags.
Golden turned and dipped back into the kitchen. Staring at the empty space where her mother just was, Scootaloo leaned in closer to her father and whispered.
Hey, Dad, why is Mom so cranky?
There was a moment's silence.
Sanguine skulls sliding over crimson fields of bad cheer.
I have an Aunt Flo.
Oh my god. A stern stomp from the doorway brought both of them to strict attention.
Ahem!
Scootaloo turned to see her mother standing in the doorway, a fully loaded school bag and 2 simple brown paper sack lunches levitating nearby.
Scootaloo, it's about time for you to go to school,
she said. Her eyes never left Cthulhu, who had turned an impossible shade of dark violet as he tried and failed to meet his spouse's glare. Scootaloo groaned, just like always. She got out of her seat and pulled her school bag onto her back. She still managed to smile at her mother.
You're not mad at Dad, right, Mom?
No, sweetie, of course not. I love your father.
Golden said, kissing her daughter's forehead.
Your father can just be stupid sometimes. Or most of the time.
Or all the time?
Golden nodded.
Or that too.
There was a grunt of objection from the towering, dark god. But once again, his many mouths stayed clamped shut. I cannot say mouths very well.
Yeah. Must be a show thing.
Whoa, don't dox me,
Now, let's make sure you have everything.
said Golden as she gave Scootaloo's backpack a once-over, ensuring the homework was secured neatly. She slid the lunch bag into a corner where it wasn't going to end up squished if, say, an overexcited filly ended up riding her scooter along a bumpy road a little too fast.
Mom, I'm gonna be late.
Scootaloo said, wriggling in her mom's grasp. Golden arched a brow.
Oh, so now you're eager to get to school, huh?
Education is fundamentally important to my life. Yada, yada, yada. Yay, learning.
Scootaloo stared at her mother with a deadpan expression.
Can I go now? I just stopped any sort of voice that I was doing for her.
She's growing up in real time. Look at her
I
go.
also originally did sort of an Australian thing because of the whole thing earlier.
I thought you were originally playing off of me doing the New York accent.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it.
Jersey accent, whatever I'm doing.
So too bad.
Sad.
Yeah, you should be. Why are parents in this one better than her actual parents from the show? Like, come on.
True. These people are here for her, and one of them is a dark god named Cthulhu.
And the other is
Even
from Jersey.
Golden attached Scootaloo's helmet and released her daughter. She pushed open the door with magic, tutting under her breath.
Tut, tut.
I can certainly see what branch of the family tree you got that attitude from. That's for sure.
Yeah, probably you.
True.
Cthulhu's been pretty chill, I gotta say.
Yeah, but wait till you see when he gets going.
I hope I do see.
Yeah, I hope there's a huge, devastating action scene where he, like, takes out Canterlot.
It'll be really funny. He's still a great dad.
True. I wish my dad was Cthulhu. I know I said that already, but I mean it.
This time I mean it.
I always mean it. Cthulhu's so cool. Cool, Thulu.
He's got nothing on Yogg-Sothoth.
How dare you? I don't even know who that is.
I can't remember what the name of my favorite Lovecraftian god is.
Okay, so that is another one of
It
them.
might be Yogg-Sothoth, but
Oh, I remember.
there are a lot of those guys.
I think there's a World of Warcraft character, because they have Cthulhu, who's based off Cthulhu. They have, like, Yogg-Saron, who's based off of him.
Well, it's not Yogg-Sothoth that I'm thinking of. Let's see here. It's actually one of the weaker Lovecraftian gods that I'm a big fan of. But I'm also not a
Wow.
huge fan of the Lovecraft universe in general, so I don't like keep their names on lock. So yeah.
Yeah.
The Nameless Mist. No, it's not that one. There are a lot of these
The
fuckers.
Nameless Mist, my favorite Lovecraftian god.
Yeah, it is.
Can't remember what his name was, but
can't find it, and the Lovecraftian wiki sucks apparently. So,
you want to try and do a ritual to summon him while we're out here?
yeah, okay. I think we got time, as long as it does not involve slapping me with a fish.
All right, you gotta take my hand.
Uh huh.
All right, close your eyes.
Uh huh.
Dang it, there's no fish around. Wait, there's no food around.
Now I know you didn't say to cover my ears, but I did it anyways because that sounds like a thing that I should be doing.
All right, and now while Ross isn't listening, I ate all the food. All right, you can open your ears again.
Oh my gosh, I can see. Where is he? We should finish the story. I am still looking for it, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But we could continue. Don't worry. Just tell me when I need to talk. I'll talk. I'm listening.
Scudlu let out a shout and took off through the door, kicking up a small cloud of dirt. With a leap, she was on her scooter and was rocketing off down the road, her small wings buzzing furiously. Golden watched from the doorway. She still felt a burst of anxiety whenever she saw her little girl ride that death trap. She would have tossed it months ago if it wasn't her precious girl's favorite toy.
At least that oaf can get something right now and again.
She whispered to herself, cracking a weak smile before turning back to the modest little house. It would have fit in amongst any one of Ponyville's more affluent neighborhoods. Her smile slipped, the howling black void in the clouds above the house, like a sucking wound in the very sky, might seem out of place. The screeching soul wraiths nesting in the chimney didn't help either. Golden walked back into her abode, passing Cthulhu, who was still reading his newspaper.
Wait a minute.
She retraced her steps and laughed when she glanced over her husband's shoulder.
You never read any of the articles other than the comics, do you?
I know. It
newspaper
said that
dropped.
he was looking at the sports ones earlier.
Yeah, but that was just when he was trying to look away so he didn't have to look at his wife, right?
Possibly.
The newspaper dropped down a few inches as he turned to look at his wife.
Traveling minstrels covert in the light of a dying stars, their clay flesh harboring secrets and greed.
Oh, please. Garfield was never that funny in the first place.
Wait, clay flesh? Harboring secrets and greed? Is that supposed to be Garfield?
Yes.
Oh,
In fact, that is a direct quote from Garfield, actually.
oh yeah.
No, but seriously, we need more, like, coincidentally Cthulhu-esque Garfield comics and shit. That idea is just too good to let it go to waste. Now, though, there's, like, Lasagna Cat, which kind of delves into something similar-ish. Lasagna Cat's
like
weird.
The, like, body horror Garfield stuff.
Yeah.
That's always wonderful.
But, like, maybe more along the lines of this. Which is just dumb fun.
Yeah. Golden rolled her eyes as she picked up Cthulhu's plate and took it to the sink.
Really? I just don't see what you find funny about those things.
Irredeemable heretic, the challenge of 1,000 gods fighting for supremacy shall bring down the Helens.
The sports section doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I guess he was reading that.
Well, there you go.
This is a really good fic. It wraps up everything, every question that we have. Golden picked up another paper sack with her magic and drifted it over to the table.
In any event, here's your lunch. I hope you enjoyed breakfast, because you're back on your diet, mister. And you don't dare try to break it by using the vending machine at the office again.
He stood with an affronted huff.
Still cannot find it, by the way.
Man,
Oil slick soaking the crime from the petty orchard's skull child.
he gave Golden a peck on the cheek as he gave Golden a peck on the cheek as he grabbed his lunch and, picking up his hat and briefcase as well, and then strode out the house and into a swirling morass of insanity given physical form. He set off at a brisk pace, the unreal terrain beneath his tentacle bulk warping and recoiling like a wolf from fire. The office was not too far away, only an eternity or two, depending on the weather, but even that was enough to make him grumble some more. Golden was just looking out for him in his expanding waistline, but some days he wished he didn't need to walk/slither/cavort to work and could just take the bus. He huffed. Some days he just wasn't sure who was the elder one in the relationship. Cthulhu's daughter, on the other hand, along with tentacled claw, talon, and horrible malformed appendage not of this world, was already busy providing free fare to her friends.
Nyarlathotep. I figured it out.
Nyarlathotep?
Yeah, that one.
Beautiful name. I would marry someone with that name.
Same here. He's kind of a cutie, too.
Aww. You can actually see this guy?
Oh, the depictions of him.
Nice.
Here, let me get a good picture of him. There you go.
Yo. Kind of a hottie.
I know.
So many arms.
Mm-hmm.
Was already busy providing free fare to her friends, both of whom were in the wagon attached to the back of the scooter.
Come on, Scootaloo. Hurry up, or else we're gonna be late for class.
I thought I was
not
the
good.
sick one.
Applebloom shouted over the buzzing of Scootaloo's wings.
Applejack threatened to tan my hide if I was late again.
We'll have to go too fast.
Sweetie Belle said around a mouthful of pencil as she attempted to scribble some last-minute complete nonsense down onto her unfinished homework. I have a feeling that they probably put a pencil in their mouth, said that out loud, and then wrote down what it sounded like.
You know what? That makes sense.
True dedication to the craft.
I respect that shit.
It wasn't a difficult goal, as her mouth writing made everything barely legible even when they weren't rocketing down a bumpy road at neck-breaking speeds. She considered her worksheet.
Applebloom, what size you divided by 8?
27?
Good enough for me.
Hold on. 72 divided by 8.
I don't want to do math.
Hold on. 72
That'd be like,
divided by 8.
definitely not 27.
It's 9.
Yes! I was right, it wasn't 27.
Actually, yeah, that is a very simple problem. I don't know why I didn't get that. Oh, I'm sick. Cough, cough.
Yeah!
Fish got me good.
Scootaloo glanced over her shoulder and scowled at both her friends.
Seriously, guys. I can't even believe you two right now.
Scootaloo skipped a beat, passing over a pothole that rocked the scooter and wagon to and fro.
The answer is obviously 42, duh.
Sweetie nodded her head and, after some eager eraser work, filled in new answer.
Oh, right. Thanks.
I thought that Sweetie was, kind of smart. Am I wrong?
None of them are smart.
Dang. I just got that impression that she was like...
And I'm not talking about just the babies. I'm talking about all of the ponies in Equestria. But especially these three.
Oh, that's fair.
They're all dipshits.
But they all have so much power.
That's true.
What began so promising took a literal and metaphorical turn for the worse when, rounding the last corner into Ponyville, and only a dozen yards from their final destination, love that map on Smash Bros.,
Yeah.
two familiar obstacles strode out into their path, forcing Scootaloo to bring the cart to a screeching halt to avoid a collision.
Oh, shoot. It's Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon.
Scootaloo said. All three Crusaders shared a collective groan. That's my...
I imagine a Muppet doing that. I don't know what Muppet, but a Muppet. Gosh, a Muppet Wizzy would be so cute.
True.
All right, let me get a good Diamond Tiara voice. Well. Look what the cat dragged in this morning.
Diamond Tiara said to the trio.
The Hork Squad and their Tweebmobile. I think I said
Silver
and their
Spoon.
Tweebmobile on that one. The Hork Squad and their Tweebmobile. I said and again. On their Tweebmobile is what it says. Yeah, that's right. I'm not finishing. I'm not actually completing that sentence. I was slapped with a fish today.
Silver Spoon joined in with Diamond Tiara's evil villainy laugh, which the two must have practiced to perfection over many long weekends for just such an occasion. Oh, how pathetic.
A cat dragging a pony? How does that make a lick of sense?
Apple Bloom asked no pony in particular. Does she doesn't have the pencil in her mouth, does she?
Probably not, but you should still do it. It's funny.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be a metaphor for something.
Sweetie Belle whispered to her. Sweetie Belle whispered to her. Sweetie Belle whispered to her.
Oh, what now?
You know, metaphor. You do know what a metaphor is, don't you?
Sweetie asked, looking quite smug with herself.
Do you?
Sweetie leaned out of the wagon and shook her hoof at the sinister duo.
Oh yeah, well, I guess we're not the jerk team on their new vehicle at all mobile.
Oh!
Fucking got her.
Sweetie, that was just killer.
Gosh, that's why she's my favorite Crusader.
She takes the crusade part literally. Scootaloo let out an exasperated sigh, rubbing the bridge of her muzzle.
Oh, come on, guys. Let's just have one day where we don't have to go through the same song and dance routine. I have no idea what you mean.
Is this based off of Diamond from the show?
No.
Oh, okay. Diamond said, sneering at the three. Silver Spoon quickly joined in turn. Is that Silver Spoon talking now?
It doesn't say it is, so I'm just gonna say it's still Diamond. We're just simply working to school is all. What I mean is that you typically make fun of us for being blank blanks. We insult you, you insult back, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. No progress is made, and we repeat the same shebang the next day and then the next one after that, over and over again.
Scootaloo shrugged.
This seems kind of boring at this point.
Diamond arched a brow in consideration.
Phew! No, a blank flank would say that now, wouldn't they?
Ooh! Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon shared another synchronized bout of laughter. Although this time their tormented targets weren't listening. In fact, they had already forgotten about the dastardly duo as they grabbed a seat at one of the lunch tables just outside school. Thanks to Scootaloo's impressive speed, they had enough time before class began to engage in a more important and time-honored activity.
Oh man, Mac forgot to pack me some grape juice today.
Apple Bloom said, bemoaning her cruel fate as she continued to search through her lunch bag.
I didn't get no reasons either.
Oh, Apple Bloom. Sweetie frowned.
Wait, wouldn't you have gotten apples instead?
Apple Bloom paused and stared at Sweetie.
What? Why?
Because, well, you know,
Know what?
your entire family grows apples. You live on an apple farm, and your name is Apple Bloom.
Sweetie shrugged.
So wouldn't it be obvious you get apples in your lunch?
Nah, after your upteenth million apple, you get kinda sick of having them all the time.
Yeah, Apple Bloom would never say that.
Yeah, she would never. And also,
would
Scootaloo's
get
parent is
crucified for
not
it.
Cthulhu, so this isn't the most accurate telling of the story.
What? I thought that's not canon?
Nope, unfortunately not.
Sad. A wide smile suddenly jumped to her face.
Score! I got apple fritters today.
But you just said,
Apple fritters, I know! Awesome!
I mean, apple fritters are like 1,000 times better than just an apple.
It's true.
Excuse me?
Diamond said to the group, all of whom glanced back dismissively towards her.
We just weren't done dissing you guys yet. And frankly, it's quite rude that you didn't let us finish. Quite rude.
Silver Spoon repeated, adjusting her glasses. There was a long pause before the Crusaders simply turned back to one another.
Hey, Scootaloo, what'd you get in your lunch today?
Asked Apple Bloom.
Probably chocolate pudding. I wanted cupcakes, but my mom doesn't buy them anymore after my dad ate an entire box a day she bought it.
Man, eats an entire box of cupcakes, but not an entire box of chocolate pudding?
Weird.
Scootaloo shuddered.
And when I mean the entire box, I mean the entire box. It's any wonder my mom hasn't used my dad as a garbage disposal yet.
Well, she's trying to work on his figure, apparently.
That's true.
Sweetie Belle picked up Scootaloo's lunch, shaking it a bit next to her ear to catch any signs of what it contained. The temperature around the table plunged as Sweetie jostled the bag, making it squelch and groan unnaturally. At least it sounded like pudding. She handed it back to Scootaloo, her breath frosting the air.
Well, go ahead and open it up. Maybe you have something you can trade.
It fell.
I was wondering.
But go ahead and open it up. Maybe you have something you can trade me for one of my cupcakes.
Cupcakes?
Apple Bloom and Scootaloo asked in stereo. Scootaloo leaned forward.
As in, more than one cupcake?
Yep, you better like extra cake, some candies, and ice cream ever since Rarity broke up with that stallion from Canada lot.
I really hope that they can understand what I'm saying, because this is funny.
I sure can. Well, then let's see what I've got.
Scootaloo declared as she upended the brown paper bag and emptied the contents onto the table. Perhaps it was all the screaming. Perhaps it was the sound of flesh being flayed by the nails of the damned as they were consumed by unthinkable things that dwelled in the darkness beyond mortal vision. Or perhaps it was the sun turning a cancerous shade of black as an eternal tide of sickly clouds swallowed up the heavens. However, perhaps the most terrifying fact of all was that there was no pudding. Bum, bum, bum.
Very scary stuff. Happy Halloween, by the way, guys.
Yeah, happy Halloween month. Hollow month? Ween doesn't mean day.
What does a ween mean? Let's look it up.
We'll have to figure it out.
Ween. Oh my god.
No!
It's a rock
You
band.
looked that up on the wrong site. Oh, wait, you're looking up the band Ween who made the song Ocean Man from the SpongeBob movie?
Yeah, that's the one.
Beautiful.
The Mollocks, 1997.
Cthulhu pulled a plastic-wrapped sandwich from his bag, his confusion reflected in dozens of his eyes.
Be of the opinion, think or suppose. He, I ween, is no scared personage. I know that sounded like I was speaking in Scootaloo's voice, but I was just reading the definition of ween. Scootaloo is not in the scene as far as I can tell.
Argent diamonds of strife embedded in the eyes of discordant flames?
He asked before upending the contents of the bag onto his desk. It hissed at the violation of being touched by the physical matter of the mortal realm, but he ignored it as his tentacles investigated his lunch. Sandwich, milk carton, apple slices, pudding pack? This was sustenance meant for a mortal child, not a greater old one. One of his suppurating mouths opened wide in understanding. Cthulhu let out a low chuckle that drove those within earshot to bleed from every orifice. He smirked. Ugh, my orifices, Ross!
I'm sorry. I just stayed true to the character. Also, you slapped me with a fish.
Yeah, but that didn't make you bleed from every orifice.
Gave me pneumonia.
Okay. I thought you liked Nimona. But
Did you know that suppurate means to undergo the formation of pus, fester?
Oh.
Or however I'm supposed to read that.
Gross.
Yeah. So anyways, you could just think about that.
He smirked, imagining the look of embarrassment Golden's face when he finally told her what had happened. It was petty, but he wouldn't pass up the small victory. His wife might act like she was in control, but she could still mess up something as simple as making lunch. The irony was delicious. God, I hate that toxic relationship.
How does she make that lunch? His lunch?
Don't know. She put some kind of eggs in it, right?
I think so.
Or, no, that was just his breakfast, right?
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, she probably, like, goes out into the back shed and mixes up some concoction.
Well, anyways, I don't think it's that toxic.
No, but, you know, it's not something I would want in my relationship. You know, I want these guys to just be getting along and be happy for each other. I'm rooting for Cthulhu and his wife.
Well, so am I.
Even better, she couldn't hide it from their daughter this time. Scootaloo wouldn't be happy to find out she'd ended up with Daddy's lunch. Oh god, it's gonna be something horrible. The laughter died on his many tongues. Scootaloo had his lunch. His lunch. And when she opened up the bag and glimpsed the horrors within, Cthulhu sprinted for the exit.
Ew. Egg salad sandwich? What was Mom thinking?
Oh, maybe it was eggs.
Well, ain't that some shit?
Scootaloo said, gagging as she pushed the offending item away. Poking through the remaining contents, Scootaloo muttered,
Let's see. Tears of the Innocent, a 3-sided cube, angel bile, baby carrots. No wonder Dad is always scarfing down junk food whenever he gets his tentacles on them. Mom's barely feeding him.
Scootaloo stared up from the bag to the rest of her friends, all of whom stood completely still. Glancing up to the sky, Scootaloo asked,
Whoa. When did it become dark all of a sudden? Is it gonna rain?
Dark clouds overhead visibly squirmed when she mentioned them, like they were self-conscious of the attention. Silent lightning arced through the sky, the after-image like ugly scars in the clouds themselves.
I wonder how Rainbow Dash is gonna deal with this mess.
She thought with a grin, before turning back to her friends. She was about to repeat the thought aloud when she noticed that the other fillies weren't looking at her.
Girls?
Eyes rolling back into her head, Sweetie Belle foamed at the mouth. At her side, Apple Bloom was attempting to tear her mane out by the roots as tears of black pitch leaked down her face. Man, another one where the Cutie Mark Crusaders can't catch a break.
Damn, son. Damn it, man. Let's see if they live this time.
They get the worst. The worst things happening to them.
Poor things.
Both were screaming, but the only sound was the buzzing of thousands of flies.
Girls?
Scootaloo repeated, her voice cracking. Around her, insanity had taken hold. Students jerked and twitched, limbs bending painfully as they all howled in silent agony. Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon were flat on their backs, bloodshot eyes watching the black sun lumber across the wounded skies. The schoolhouse seemed to warp and disintegrate, the wood rotting away as it aged centuries in mere seconds. When she saw the colorless pit burst forth from the center of the playground in a gross violation of reality itself, she let out a loud and indignant groan.
Dad, stop it. You're embarrassing me.
Squirming, sliding, sinking, screaming,
he replied as he hauled the upper half of his bulk up into the physical plane, his form shimmering with arcane energy.
I love that show.
Reality recoiled at its presence, the earth bucking and twitched as it tried to get away. Scootaloo just snorted and crossed her arms, blushing.
Yeah, I know, Mom mixed up the lunches, but you're still embarrassing me. Just look at my friends.
Cthulhu glanced around at the dozens of trembling figures. He gave his daughter a dozen sheepish grins.
howling amends underneath the claws of the timid fallen.
Rolling her eyes, she scooped everything back into the paper sack and before thrusting it out towards him.
Here, just take it and go before I get into trouble. School's starting soon, and I don't want to have a meeting with Miss Shirley about the death of existence or why I'm late again.
Cthulhu patted Scootaloo on the head with one of his tentacles as he swapped the lunches. The earth shook as he slowly reclined backwards into the abyss. the ground clashing together like a rocky mouth closing around a tasty morsel and swallowing him and the accursed lunch, taking them back into the hellscape that had spawned them both. In an instant, the skies cleared, as 12 foals collapsed to the ground like marionettes with their strings cut. Aching and sore and unsure why, they all tasted bile at the back of their throats.
Yeah, I'm also wondering about that too. It's been kind of a constant all day ever since I got slapped by a fish.
Oh no. That fish was a Cthulhu fish.
Oh, shit.
You don't have just any sickness, you have insanity.
Oh, shucks. Ain't that just the way of things, I guess. Fiddlesticks, man.
Wah, wah.
Fiddlesticks.
Apple Bloom wiped the tears from her eyes and glanced around as Sweetie Belle shook her head in confusion.
Scootaloo, did something just happen?
Like what, Sweetie Belle?
She replied, her face a mask of innocence. Sweetie Belle rubbed her temple.
I know. Something sad and terrible, and in violation of all the natural laws of Equestria.
Scootaloo tapped her chin.
No, I don't remember anything like that happening. Maybe it was something you ate?
Oh, okay.
Sweetie Belle glanced down at her meal.
Why do I suddenly feel the need to call my parents and let them know I love them?
Oh, Jesus.
Kids.
Smiling, Scootaloo reached into her bag and withdrew the contents. Her smile vanished.
Where's my pudding cup?
God damn you, Cthulhu!
Dad. Ugh.
The end.
Author's note. This was a product of a lot of cough syrup, some severe writer's block, and the insanity that is Rainbow Bob, who wanted me to let you know how smart, attractive, talented, and financially successful he is.
Nice.
Seriously, he wouldn't stop harassing me about it. So please, to keep him from going after me some more and, I don't know, breaking my kneecaps, be sure to give him some love. And if you're one of Bob's many thousands of crossed out slave converts, cultists, followers, welcome. Twilight smiley face.
Nice. This is probably the funniest Halloween fic we've read.
I would have to agree. I might need to go over them again. Oh,
yeah.
Something's whatever to bite one not Trixie, what's her name is a witch, Chrysalis is a witch.
Yeah, with a little bit of fang showing.
Fang showing, that's it.
A smile with a little bit of fang showing.
Why the hell did I say something to bite? What? That's the one. I think that one might be
was,
a bit funnier.
Yeah, I'd have to reread that, but
I was surprised how funny that one was. Going back to it, it's just a solidly funny story. But that's not the story we have just read right now, because we just read A Lovingly Crafted Lunch by Damon of Decay and Rainbow Bob. And it was very funny. And you know what? I also appreciated how just kind of cute it was. Sort of.
I feel like it was like all leading up to that one moment, sort of, and then it was just away, which I kind of thought was like they played that off well. Just like they wrote it in a really funny way. I think it was well delivered. Yeah. How nonchalant Scootaloo was about it.
That pretty clever idea, and I think they pulled it off really well. And frankly, I just like the idea of Scootaloo being Cthulhu's daughter.
It makes sense based on the name.
Yep, Scthulhu or Scootathulu.
Scootathulu.
And yeah, the art is just adorable, by the way. Look at that tentacly Scootaloo face. That's so cute.
Looks like a baby Scootaloo. Is that like just normal Scootaloo? Is that how Scootaloo always looks besides the Cthulhu parts?
Yeah, she also has wings in the show, but yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no wings there. Odd.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hopefully in the next CMC fic, they will be less tortured.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about it.
I want a sequel where Apple Bloom accidentally mixes up her lunch with her Aunt Pandora.
Oh boy. That'll be a weird one.
Yeah. So, happy Halloween, everyone.
And speaking of, I also need to tell you all, because I'm dedicated to this now, I need to recommend a Halloween story to read. just remembered about it now. Didn't actually pick anything out. Frankenstein is pretty good.
Classic.
It's actually not just pretty good. It's really good. It's fantastic. It's
a piece of feminist history.
Yeah. And it was written by a man, actually. There's a fun fact. No, it wasn't.
How dare you try and erase the legacy of Mary Shelley?
I mean, she originally went by a pseudonym or whatever. She went under a man's name for that story. That I wonder why. It's a mystery. Who knows?
Did she just think men were better? I don't know.
So we'll never know, I guess. But fantastic story, Frankenstein. Very similar to A Lovingly Crafted Lunch, actually.
Oh.
Sort of got that whole family dynamic.
True.
A bit more toxic in that one, I'd say, but it's more of a mature story. It delves into the themes of...
It's basically an M-rated version of The Lovingly Crafted Lunch.
Yeah, basically. I was gonna say something else about Frankenstein, but I can't remember. Oh yeah, some people say that Mary Shelley is really the creator of sci-fi because of it, but like reading it, there's not a lot of sci-fi things that happen in it.
Well, the
Like,
machine goes
there's
zappy.
the guy that comes to life, but that's it. We don't even know how the fuck he comes to life in the book.
They don't actually give any pseudoscience explanation.
There is nothing.
Did they even mention, like, the electrical whatever stuff that you always see in the movies?
No, that came from the Universal movie.
Okay. Crazy.
In fact, the most famous version of Frankenstein before the Universal one, he was made by like a boiling pot of... It's like a witch made him,
I hate
basically.
that.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's what you get when you don't actually give any explanation for your monster. Mary.
Well, you know, Lovecraft didn't give a explanation for his monsters, but that made them better, right?
Yep, that's the only good thing about him. That's all we need. Thank you all so much for watching, listening. Fuck. I got slapped by a fish. Please go down in the description and read this, because I forgot to tell you first. Thanks, Wizzy. Thanks for reminding me. I'm sick and you didn't remind me. Great job.
I have radiation poisoning.
He doesn't.
I'm making excuses.
Maybe he has radiation poisoning from his toxic personality.
Whoa. How does radiation poison relate to my toxic personality?
Because I couldn't think of anything on the fly and I hate you.
Well, that's just pleasant.
Anyways, and next time we're gonna see if we can get out of this forest. We won't be able to. That's gonna be the whole thing. So, yeah. Have a great time, guys. Give it a like. Alright, so just set the mood. Campfire.
Crackle, crackle, crackle. Rustle, rustle.
Lightning bugs. I know.
That, by the way, that was my lightning bug noise. I feel like it was pretty accurate.
That was a pretty good lightning bug noise, by the way.
Thank you. I don't live out where there's many lightning bugs, so it's pretty difficult for me to imitate that noise. But you know, I try my best.
I'm actually surprised there aren't that many over there.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I mean, like, you live right near the woods, don't you?
Yeah, but there's just none out in the West Coast. Or, I don't know, West Coast? North Coast? I don't know. I just know that when I went
You're up north.
out east, I am out north, but I'm also out west.
Up north and to the west. Second star to the right.
When I had flown out east, there was plenty of lightning bugs, and it was beautiful.
Ah. Now that sounds nice. Anyways. Alright, so yeah, all that shit. That's just to get you in the mood. Okay.
Sorry, but I just can't go past that without mentioning Fireflies by Owl City.
10 million fireflies.